Hi guys. Sorry for the gap. My laptop broke. Well, I damaged it and I had to buy a new one. So there was a gap while I was doing that. So today's video is going to be a short one. I just want to go over my diagnoses. Because it's another part of who I am. They don't define me in any way, but it's a part of who I am and my story and my life and my journey. So let's go. So, obviously, I have Asperger's syndrome, given the title of my channel. I won't elaborate right now because my next two videos, one's going to be what is Asperger's, and the other one's going to be how it affects me. I'm going to call it highlights and lowlights because I can't put 28 years in one video. So, I have Asperger's. I have major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. I believe those have always been there. I think they're comorbid with the autism, which is very common. And I do take medication for those things. Um, what else do I have? I have something called premenstrual dysphoria, which is basically, I call it super PMS. So I've been put on oral birth control, and it's actually worked very well for that. I have what's called a hiatal hernia, which has to do with where my esophagus and my stomach connect, and that causes reflux disease, gastroesophageal. And that's been there. I had severe feeding issues as a baby, and I feel like my left eye is wandering a lot. I have a lazy eye, just wandering. It's wandering a lot today. I was, I had severe feeding problems as a baby, and I do feel like the doctors kind of dropped the ball on that one. I don't know why that wasn't diagnosed. And it was me a couple years ago. I don't know why it took me so long. I go to the doctor for everything. But for whatever reason, I just took it for granted that I would always have heartburn. And something triggered me to talk to the doctor about it. I had an endoscopy where they stuck a camera in and look, and I was given medication for reflux. Sorry, I keep thinking I hear things. And it worked great. That's the only time I've ever had something solved in one appointment. Um, the Yeah, no, the birth control is not a close second. That took a number of changes in doctors. So I'm on a medication for reflux. I'm on oral birth control. I didn't say what meds I'm on. I take Cymbalta for depression and clonazepam for anxiety. And that's changed many times over the years. Probably will continue to change. But I do need something. I view my medications as a tool. They're part of my toolkit to be functional. I need other things such as therapy and other coping techniques as well. But I wouldn't be able to utilize those techniques without the medication first. Because when I've been in major depressive episodes, when I've had the meds not working so well, I'm useless. And so you can give me all the therapy and coping techniques you want, but sorry, something's randomly popped up on my thing. But if I'm eating cake for dinner, staying up till 7 in the morning, that doesn't help. I need the medication to get me to a certain place. So that's how I view it. I view it as a tool, and I'm choosing to disclose this because I hear too many parents who are hesitant to put their children on medication that they need. And I've been medicated from childhood in one way or another, and I'm glad it was done, and I want to make that very clear. And I'm happy to answer more questions about that because it is such an important topic. I also take medication for fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia causes body-wide aching pain and fatigue. I take a combination of nabilone and amitriptyline. Sorry, things keep opening. And I have fortunately responded pretty well because chronic pain management is kind of a crapshoot. They throw stuff at you and see what sticks. So I've been lucky in that regard. And I think that's all my medication. But I have a few other things going on. I have a ganglion. I mentioned the lazy eye. Although that's kind of minor. I have a ganglion cyst in my right knee. And that's been a bit of a frustration trying to get someone to fix it. I can't really exercise. It's hard to walk. Some days I can barely get up a flight of stairs. That's a big thing. That's probably going to be a surgical intervention. So we're working on that. That's a big fight. Um, so I guess those are my big things, and a few little things about me. I am a teeth grinder, and I bring that up because it's connected to the anxiety. And anxiety is comorbid with the autism, and it's an example of how all roads lead to autism with me, or most roads. And I do have a night guard. The first one I had from the dentist I actually broke, and my long practicing dentist was like, he'd never seen one break like that before, so that was interesting. And I have some ringing in my ears now, which an ENT told me is related to my jaw joint, which is related to the teeth grinding. So everything is connected, it seems. And speaking of my ears, a little quirk about me is my left earlobe. I had my ears pierced when I was 10. They got infected. I was told to take out the keepers and so they could heal, but by taking out the keepers, they closed. When they were re-pierced, this one didn't go right. And there's like a dead end in there. If you try to put an earring in the opening, you have to get it the right way or you hit like a dead end. It's very weird. It's a little weird thing about me. And it causes, sometimes I get lumpy things in my earlobe, which the doctor said is related to that. So that's a little thing about me. I think I'll leave it there. I'm going to elaborate when I get into highlights and lowlights of autism. One of the lowlights is low muscle tone, and that affects my posture, my shoulders. I have shoulder pain. I have foot pain because my feet are flat because of the low muscle tone. So I will elaborate more on that in the highlights and lowlights of autism. I think that fits in there more. So I think we're good for today. I think that's an overview of my diagnoses. I could elaborate more on anxiety and the depression if people would like. I'm all for raising awareness and ending the stigma. I hear things all the time, like people are weak who have depression. Walk a day in my shoes and tell me how weak I am. So I'm happy to address those things further. Asperger's, of course, is the central theme of my channel. So that will be addressed. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So thank you, everyone.